Everybody, I'm Sally Farrell,
And I'm Deanna Burgon.
and we are with Burgon Farrell team here in beautiful Bellingham, Washington. We're brokered by eXp Realty. And today we are going to give you a market update for what's happening. Today is June 12th, and Deanna's going to start and she's going to tell you about what's happening nationally, what we've been seeing nationally. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on here locally in Whatcom County. So Deanna, take it away.
Yeah. All right. So I will do a little bit of a screen share. I'm going to try this. We'll see if it works. So nationally, I think it's pretty indicative of local, but we'll kind of find that out as Sally goes over her information. But new home sales, according to Diana Olick, and also just facts and figures, new home sales rose slightly in April, defying expectations of a huge 22% drop. So experts were expecting, of course, because of the pandemic, for April numbers to also be down, but instead they actually rose. It says, Mark Fleming, chief economist of First American, we know that April really was the trough, and they expect the rebound to be quite strong, and the main numbers that will come out at the end of June. So what they're saying is that when everyone had to go into stay home, stay safe mode, and this was all new for everyone, we saw the bottom of this current market, of the housing market. And looking at the April, the May numbers, it's really started to already come back. So that's great news. And home prices, this is a really exciting chart because everyone wants to know what's going to happen in the future. And of course, no one knows for sure, but experts have projected that we're going to continue to see increases in housing prices. Now, depending if you're a buyer or a seller, that can be good or maybe not so great. But what we see here is even in 2020, out of these 6 experts, 5 of the 6 are still expecting us to have increases, just as was projected at the beginning of 2020. We were seeing those home prices rise nationally. And then, anyway, we're still seeing that. And 3 of those 6 are saying it's going to be over a 3% gain. That's pretty huge. Then in 2021, they're all saying that we will see an increase. So that's great. And then nationally, newly pending sales are up 24.5%, and new listings taken are up 19.39% in May. So that in itself just shows that people started getting, I think, a little bit comfortable with processes during the pandemic and how to stay safe and still make life happen. So this is Zillow's June report, which would be the main numbers. And they say both pending sales and new listings remain well up from the previous month, when the market was bouncing back from a slowdown in the early days of the coronavirus pandemic. So as long as things continue the way that we've been seeing, I think we're going to continue seeing maybe not tremendous gains, but as summer comes, and people always need to move. So Sally, what do you see going on with the local numbers?
Yeah, what we're seeing in the local market is that it really is kind of in line with those numbers that you're talking about. We in Whatcom County is what we're talking about today, Whatcom County specifically. We don't have the big pendulum swings like they do in some areas. We are a lot more, our lines are a lot more, our curves are more flat than a lot of areas. So we're not seeing any big swings, but I'm going to share my screen with you as well. First, mine aren't as pretty as Deanna's. These are the numbers we've received from the Northwest MLS, our multiple listing service that keeps track of all of our sales and statistics throughout Western Washington. And so what we're looking at here, what I've highlighted, is Whatcom County. And these are just year-over-year numbers. So these are numbers that are comparing May 2019 with May 2020. And so we've just got some basic numbers here. So new listings in May 2020, there were 338 new listings in Whatcom County. Compare that to 2019, where there were 569 in that same time period. And so total active listings last year, there were 709. This year, there were 606 in that same time period. So we've seen a change, a 14.5% change in the number of homes that are on the market. Now, to me, considering what we've been through, that is not huge to me, right? It doesn't seem like a huge number. It's significant, but not huge. So because the number of listings are down, the number of pendings are also down about 20%. So to me, that just shows, that there just weren't enough houses for people to buy, right? So we didn't have as many pendings. So I'm getting to the good stuff here. I know this is a little bit boring, but we'll get there. So the number of homes that closed in May this year were only 212 compared to 385 last year. So the number of pendings in May, 20% down, but the number of closed transactions in May were 45% down from the year before. That's because the closed in May, those homes pended in April, which, as Deanna said already, was the low point. So of course, we're going to see in May very low numbers for closings. So that is not that surprising. And so we're kind of wondering now, okay, so we know that we have low numbers for listings, low numbers for inventory, but what about buyers, right? That's the other part of the equation. If we have very few listings, right, does that mean we don't have many buyers as well? So we look over here to see what happened. So closed sales. So the number, I'm sorry, I'm going to go over here. So median price is what we're going to look at to kind of give us an indication, because we know, supply and demand, we know the supply was low, so the demand has to be a little bit high in order to balance that out, in order to keep the prices moving upward, right? So we saw that in May 2019, the median price for homes in Whatcom County was $382. In May of 2020, the median price is $408,250. So that means the price increase year over year from May to May has been 6.73%. That's a pretty healthy increase. And so what that shows to us, and so what that shows is there is a demand. There are buyers out there. We are seeing multiple offers. Homes are selling for a little bit more than asking price. We do, of course, people are always asking me, well, what about we're seeing a lot of price reductions. Well, yeah, I mean, we are seeing a lot of price reductions, not significant amount of price reductions, but a lot of those homes came on the market before they knew what was going on, right? And so they had to sit on the market for a while everybody tried to figure out what was going on. And it's just been a really difficult time to figure out how to price a home to match this market. So we are seeing some price adjustments that people are doing because they just priced their house too high for the market, right? So so we are seeing that, but really, to me, the outcome here is that prices have increased, meaning we have motivated buyers that are out there buying houses, right? And what we're also seeing here is our months of inventory, and we've talked about this a little bit before. It's still really low for Whatcom County. I think for Bellingham, I don't have the number here, but I believe it's probably still less than 2 months inventory in Bellingham, which means that's still a seller's market, right? Because we've talked about that a lot before, that a balanced market is about 5-6 months of inventory, and we've been way under that for a very long time. The only other thing I was going to show today was just this, bear with me, was this graph. So this is also numbers that were pulled from Northwest MLS, and it's just for the past year, the number of pendings. And I thought this was really interesting. Okay, so this is a graph that shows the number of pending listings every month. And this just goes back to June 2019, but we can imagine that before this June 2019, things were going along just as normal. Things were ramping up to that June number of pendings. And then, this has taken this normal, historically similar route, towards December, kind of number of pendings goes down. And then from December 19th, we're starting to come out. February, we're kind of on the normal trajectory, and all of a sudden, boom, we go in our little trough in April. But as you can see, it's not huge. You go to some cities, look at some cities, and that's a really big drop off. But ours wasn't huge, which is great. But what is huge is that recovery in May, the number of pending sales from April to May. That is
that's awesome.
Very unusual jump that we're seeing. And we're probably going to, what we're looking at now is probably maybe a few more pendings in June. And for me, that's as far as I want to go as far as projecting, because we have so many things that are happening right now that could change that trajectory. But what we know right now is what we're dealing with right now is that prices are good. You're not going to find huge deals right now. I know a lot of investors and buyers kind of disappointed because they thought that they would come into summer and start scooping up, some super deals. I'm sure they're out there, but things are staying very healthy and pretty stable. So we're really, really pleased. I am anyway to see that, especially for our buyers, right? Or for our sellers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
For everybody, because it's great for everybody. And we're going to talk about that next time, right?
Exactly. And right. And experts say that the economy, the housing industry is what's leading also the recovery. So it's great.
Yeah, because it's not a housing crisis that's causing this, it's a health crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah. So next time we're going to talk about how, because it's home ownership month.
Yes, June is home ownership month.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of home ownership, how it benefits individuals and communities, right?
Yes.
We're excited to talk about that. So did you have something else you wanted to share? I think you do.
I do. I'm like, I want to share it. So our summer 2020 buyer and seller guides are ready for you guys. So if you would like to receive a PDF copy of it, we don't do paper, but we would love to send you a copy of either a buyer or seller guide and help you kind of get a feeling for what the process is.
Can you show them kind of what it looks like?
Oh, let me see. I think so.
Okay. Take your time.
Voila. Ta-da!
Oh!
This is what they look like. They're pretty awesome. A lot of information. They're just stuffed with great information, and it's not information that you will be bored with. It's actual usable takeaway information. So
we'd love to get that to you.
Yeah, reach out to us and we will definitely help you get one of those.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, we can't wait to talk to you again. I hope this was really helpful, this information. And
yeah,
we always forget, subscribe.
Oh, yes.
Like, let us know what you think.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.